Hello, I'm unmuted now. Now you can hear me. How's everybody doing? Excited to be with you tonight. I have my esteemed colleague, Chris, with us. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey everybody, how's it going out there?
Hey, is this your first time on Live Dreams?
This is the inaugural one. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope we get some good dreams. I sure came prepared as I could be.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, of course, it's not just us. We got a whole team of people with us helping and supporting. Sydney has a good dream. She's excited. Tanya, from where are you at again, Tanya? I think it's the UK or Australia or. All right. We have such a family here that when everybody logs in, they have to say hi to one another. But hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. Peace be with you all. Yes, it is going to be a great night. We got lots to talk about tonight. And the first of several meetings for me. I'm glad you all are with us. Hi from Indiana. Yeah, let us know where you're calling in from. Hi, Nicole. Hey, Erica. It's good to see you. Trish from Wyoming. JC from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Susan, of course, from Colorado. All right. Got a lot of good people from that great state of Mississippi. All right. Well, it's good to see you all. Welcome to Live Dreams. We're excited to have you. If you've never been here, thank you for joining us. It's Chris's first time as well. We do Live Dreams once a week. We've done it for 2 hours. We've done it for 5 hours. We're doing it for an hour right now. But we do it to give people a taste of what it looks like to have a dream interpreted at a deep level. And so it's a popular show because a lot of people really have their dreams interpreted by myself and some other friends of mine, some people that we've trained in the spiritual intelligence modules and the things that we're doing. And it's always exciting because it's not a scripted show. We don't ever know who's going to be there. We don't know what they're going to talk about. And yet, if you look at the whole time that we're together, you'll see the hand of God kind of weaving in different themes. And so don't just look at the individual dreams, but look at dreams that keep repeating. Look at things that God is saying and what he is trying to say, perhaps to you or to the nation or to all of us. And so, yes, we welcome Chris. It's your first time. We're glad to have all of you with us. So a short dream, by the way, is by definition 3 sentences or less. People say, I have a short dream, and they get on with these page and a half long dreams. And I don't want to have to cut anybody off because we don't like to do that. But a short dream is indeed short. And the reason is because we can spend 20 or 30 minutes on a dream that's 3 lines long. I've spent an hour on a dream that was 3 words long in an open setting. And so it's a lot. So that's part of why we're here. The other reason is we come together as a community to interpret dreams, where you see, like Chris and I are the guys, kind of the front men tonight, if you will, leading the dream interpretation charge. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who've been trained and who know exactly what dream interpretation looks like and how to do it properly. And so they come together as a group. And as Chris and I interpret, and you'll see us doing that live, you'll also see people that are chiming in the comments and they're saying, I think this, or I'm feeling that, or I'm sensing this. And it's really, really powerful when you get a thought and you throw it in the comments and you see somebody else has that thought at the exact same time. And you're like, wow, look at God confirming what we're doing. And so it's incredible. So it's a good time of both family. It's a time of hanging out with our dreams. It's a time of sitting in a place and hearing the voice of God. And at the same time, it's also a place of learning and developing in a group, in a community, what your skills are in dream interpretation. So let's open up with a word of prayer. Chris, you want to pray for us?
I'd love to. Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful for this evening to come before Thee as we seek for Thy interpretations of all the message, all the ways that Thou art speaking to Thy children, Father. Please bless our hearts that they may be open to hear Thy messages this evening. And Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Let's start with Sydney.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm at school. The Wi-Fi here is not the best, so just let me know if you need me to take out my headphones.
I can hear you.
Coming
Okay,
through
good.
great.
Okay, good. The Wi-Fi here at school is terrible. I've been here all day. And I won't be home until like 10. It's okay.
Wow.
So
You're working
I
it.
actually had I had this dream about 3 years ago, and it's just been on my mind. So starts off at my house, and I was 17 when I had this. So this was 2021. It starts off at a family gathering at my house. The doorbell rings. I go into the door. My cousins, Gabby and Ava. Ava was 11, and Gabby was 8. So they're 3 years apart. Hopefully, I'm doing the math right. I answer the door. They walk into the house, and they sit with their mom. And then I'm like, whatever. Doorbell rings again. I answer the door. This time, Gabby is 17, Ava is 14. They go inside, and they sit with their dad. So they sit with their mom on the left side of the room when they were little kids. And then on the right side of the room, they're sitting with their dad as teenagers. And I'm standing there in my house, just very confused. I'm like, why am I seeing two different age numbers with two different parents? And I'm standing there looking side to side. I'm like, what's going on? And in that dream, I was 17. And then it just ended.
So in the first stream, the kids came in and they were 11 and 8. Gabby and
Yes.
April. Was that right?
Ava. Gabby
Ava.
and Ava. Ava,
Gabby
yeah.
and Ava.
Mhm.
And then they come in, they sit with their mom. Then in the next
Yes.
stream, they're 17 and 14, and they come in and they sit with their dad, and they're teens. But
Yeah, they were 8. Gabby is 17 in the stream, and Ava was 14. They're 3 years apart.
okay. So is everybody in the room all at the same time?
Yeah, we had some other family members. It was just like a little small get together. We used to have a lot of those when we were in California. So it was just like a little party we were having. And I was in that room, my mom, my dad, my sister, my aunt, uncle, everybody.
Yeah. I like what Nicole says. It's interesting that she's 17 at the time that Gabby is also 17 at the end, which is also the age of Joseph when his brother sold him into slavery.
Mm.
So, Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do like that 17. I think that's kind of particular, making this relate definitely to Sydney, bringing her closer to, uh, I guess it would be Gabby. Gabby would be the older one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And gosh, I see a lot of just kind of the dynamic in a family, kind of bringing that to your awareness, um, possibly masculine and feminine traits, from the mother to the father. Um,
Mm-hmm. I will give you a rundown with this. I was very close with my cousins, and then all of a sudden, they just kind of stopped talking to us for some reason. We are not sure why. And we were like really close. We were like really little. We were like best friends, and all of a sudden, we just started growing apart. Not sure why. So I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. Without knowing all the details of your family dynamics and everything, it really seems like, God's kind of pulling you back in closer to these other cousins, helping you to relate with them, helping you to um, just kind of recognize maybe the difference in the dynamics with, them growing up, moving closer to their father, possibly, um, or just developing those other traits.
Hmm. Yeah, they do have a relationship with their dad. Their mom, not so much, really. things kind of started. I would say things kind of started like going down a little downhill between the year 2018 and 2019 when I was a sophomore in high school and when Gabby was also a sophomore in high school. So in reality, like me and her, we're 2 weeks apart. We're the same age. She's just 2 weeks older than me.
So it's interesting. My question is, what happened between the time you were 11 and 17? In those 6
Ooh,
years?
a lot. A lot has happened. I would say in my part, when I was 11, we were very close. When we started getting a little older, things kind of just started distancing a little bit. I was going into middle school, the start of high school as well. So I was like kind of focusing on getting a job, getting new friends, getting plugged into more of like churches, youth, and then when COVID hit, we didn't really see them much. So we tried to have more family gatherings, and at that point, we just kind of like started falling apart. And then when I was 17, a ton of stuff has happened in my family. There was like a little bit of drama. There was, I had a friend pass away before I turned 17. So it was like a lot of drama in those years. My mom getting healed from cancer. So it was like a ton of stuff that happened.
Was
in those
Gabby
years.
involved in any of that with your
She was
friends
involved.
passing?
No, she wasn't. She was involved with a lot of like just my birthday party kind of thing, some family gatherings we had, graduations we had for sure. She was involved in a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
I don't really know what year we started falling apart, but I will say I do miss that friendship. But if there's a reason why I've been removed from that, then it's probably for a protection or something, or maybe just they need to figure out where they're standing with the Lord because I don't know their side of the story with the Lord.
Are
I know
you
where
in witness protection, Sydney?
witness protection. No,
Are you in witness protection?
no,
Well, that's good. That's good to know.
no.
There's a shift that occurred in those 6 years, and it was a shift towards man's way of thinking. And it's interesting that the first set went with their mom, right, and they were on the right, and then the kids with their dad were on their left. And so I feel like
Yeah.
this is, and other people have seen this. I'm certainly not the only one that saw this, but a shift in probably the heart and maybe the political culture of the family related to one side of the house or the other. And as they grew kind of from their preteen years into both in their teen years, it sounds like they accepted possibly the ideology of the left a little bit more. And I feel like this could be a warning and something that a lot of times what happen is people go through a trauma or a trigger, particularly in their young years, and it can cause repercussions in your political views and even in your family life. And I feel like there's the question that I feel, and I felt this question in other situations, is what happened between 11 and 17. And so I feel like there's something that happened in your life between 11 and 17 that it had definite repercussions in Gabby and Ava's life between 11 and 17. And I feel like it was either part of a family trauma or it was part of a decision, and there was like a separating of sides in the decision.
I would say I'm not 100% sure. I mean, when we were little, me and Gabby told each other like everything, but then when we started growing apart, it kind of just like it slowly like got where she wasn't like texting me as much, calling. They were Republicans at the time, and I think they switched to Democrats for sure.
Wow.
I think that's part of the reason, and they were Christian, and then and then when they were kids, they transferred to a Catholic school. But I don't even think they're Catholic anymore. I honestly don't know what their religion is really. Like, I don't know what they believe in, honestly. They know what I believe in. They know that I vote for like whoever. They know where I stand, but
Yeah.
I don't know where they stand.
I thought it was really interesting, particularly what Marisha said, as well as Sacred Terra, the idea of Gabby and Gabriel coming, and then the idea of the mother left hand, the father right hand in the same church, Mother Mary and Saint Joseph, particularly from a Catholic viewpoint. And so I think it's really interesting that there could even be some significance in what has happened. The right and the left, I think, is interesting. The father and the mother are interesting, but there's a code in the years. The idea of 17 and 14 and 18 and 4. And so I feel like there's something that is not for all of us to discover, but I think it's something for you to kind of take away with and meditate on, and God is going to show you. Sometimes he does that a little bit more. But the biggest question is what happened between 11 and 17. And if there was a political shift in their lives, the question would be why. Now, this would be mid through Trump's first term, just to give you some sort of...
I honestly think that the whole, like, their political has shifted between COVID for sure. Because during COVID, you had a lot of people who were like, okay, you got to wear the mask. Me, I do not know. I don't wear the mask. I'm like, get me sick. I'm going to get better anyway. I'm like, I don't care about the mask rule. I don't care about the vaccine. Nothing. That was me. That's not them. They were, okay, put your mask on. They got 2 rounds. I remember they got 2 rounds of the vaccine because they were in school at the time. I got pulled out because they said I had to take the vaccine, but I was like, I'm not taking that. So I think definitely when COVID hit, for sure, and the election, that's when their political views started changing.
Yeah.
But I don't know what their parents voted for and stuff. I'm assuming their parents probably voted for, I'm wondering, I don't know if their dad had voted for Democrat or Republican. I know their mom for sure, Democrat. And
well, it may not even be
dad,
Democrat versus Republican. It could just be a little bit left or right.
Yeah.
But
their political views definitely shifted during COVID for sure.
And there's a reason that happened. And so part of the actionable intelligence may be that God is leading you to get closer to them and even to have a conversation and just say, hey, what happened to you guys when between 11 and 17? Or between 8 and 14, and see what happened. A lot of times there could be even a trauma that occurred in their life that you may not know about, and God may be wanting to address it, which is why he's giving you, because you would notice the shift, as you clearly have seen, and even the shift, how they came to you.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard because, I'm in Texas and they're in California. We don't see them as much, but...
Road trip.
Yeah. I mean, I am going back to California. My other cousin's getting married, so... Maybe
you'll see him at the wedding.
Yeah.
That's perfect. You're on assignment. You have an assignment. You got an assignment to sit down with Gabby and
I don't like talking about politics. I will tell you this. I'm not a politics girl because people who ask me my opinion, I'm like, I'm going to get in trouble. Like, I don't want to upset people, but like, if people want me to get their opinion, I'm going to give it to them. But I'm like, hey, what you believe in is what you believe in. I don't judge, but everyone's got different beliefs. So.
Wow.
Yeah, Sydney, I remember you saying how you started thinking about this more recently, and so maybe that's a big part of it coming up with this wedding, kind of God calling this dream to your memory, helping you dive back into it to keep your family together. I mean, families are important, but that's, like John was saying, that's definitely part of the actionable intelligence.
It was interesting when this dream came up to me because, I kind of put this on the back burner. I was like, oh, this must be something different. But then when my grandma came to stay with me for a little bit, she was like, one day our family's going to be so much better. It's going to be healthy. We're all going to be together again. I was like, I hope for that day too. So maybe this is a time where that happens because I don't like seeing family fall apart. I miss the relationship I had with them. So if this is God saying, hey, let's put this back together, then I'm going to jump on board and do that.
All right. Well, you got your marching orders, and thank you so much for being brave and coming on and sharing your dream with us. We always love hearing from you.
I'll give you guys an update in June.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Gabby.
Bye.
All right. I'm sorry. Sydney.
Thanks, Sydney. Okay. Bye.
Awesome. Wow, that's interesting. Here's another one with a family theme in it. 3/11/24 at 6:30 a.m. I'm across from my husband at the table, looking at a card from my wallet and realizing I can read it without my glasses. I look at him and I tell him I can read my glasses. I think she means without my glasses. Yes, she says without my glasses. Go ahead, Chris. This is all you, buddy.
Let's see. Was that what kind of card? A credit card? Debit card? That's kind of what I'm
You
wondering.
don't have the cards. You
Yeah.
don't have the cards, okay? That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, realizing I can read it without my glasses. Gosh, I like that. It's like coming into focus, seeing better than you used to be able to, kind of like being surprised about maybe God's blessings, um, helping you see clearer. We get used to our physical disabilities, and then kind of grow into them like a crutch.
Right. So what do you think it means for her spiritually?
Yeah, definitely a time of eye opening with better vision, having clarity, like Shelley just said there. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a chained symbol to some of her other dreams where, maybe this card shows up or glasses play a role, and I would expect further visions and intelligence to come from it.
I agree with that 100%, Chris. And I love what Susan says, financial future and clear vision. And yes, we could sing. I can see clearly now. I love that. But I thought it was really interesting that looking at a card from my wallet. So again, was that a credit card? Was that a swipe in card? Whatever it is, it allows access, and it probably allows a level of provision. And so being able to see clearly access and provision without assistance, without needing glasses, I think is awesome. So what God is saying is you're given a level of access that's deeper than you've ever had before, that can actually provide a level of provision to you that you may not have had before. And you get it unassisted, whereas you may needed a co-signer on a loan, you won't now. You can clearly see the card, and you have the card, and you only need one card, and it's the card that you need to be able to give you access and to give you provision for the things that God is calling you to. And so the lenses, which can also, by the way, be an impediment there, because they're literally a barrier between what you're looking at and you and your eyes. And so the lenses can be something that's literally blocking the naked eye view or the unadulterated view of what you would see. And so where you haven't seen, or it's been fuzzy, financial provision and or access, it's going to be clear now. So I hope that makes sense. And it was like an insurance card or a medical card. Okay, well, that's interesting. So you've been praying for sight restoration. She hates her glasses. I think that's issues with husband too. Okay, interesting. So I think God is doing a work, and I think he's showing you, you see clear without the looking glass, maybe what's in front of you. Yeah, I like that. So it's a word not just about your physical health and being able to see. It's about taking off the old lenses, which you looked at both your medical situation, your security, which is your insurance, and how you looked at your finances. So God is calling you to take off the lenses that you've had before. So that's a really good dream. All right, here's an international dream. I was in the soft play area at my old school. Zelensky was at the back. I think he had some kind of decision to make. He was wearing a blue jacket over his usual dark attire. She had it at 4:16 this morning. All right, a Zelensky dream. Right after a dream with cards in it. I love it. Soft play area at my old school. there's been a lot of memes since Zelensky and Trump's summit or meeting in the White House. In my opinion, is Zelensky screwed the pooch on that one big time, massively. That did not go well for him. And the idea of being in the soft play area at my school. Now, by the way, I love the people of every country, the people of Ukraine, the people of Russia, but I tell you what, there's got to be something about our leaders. We have to. It's the leaders that are going to make or break a nation, that can take a nation to war, that can lead a nation into financial ruin. And so many people that want to back one leader or another. Do your research and look and see what God is showing them and seeing what God is showing you about them. The idea of being in a soft play area at my old school is the idea that they're playing in the sandbox. They're playing in the small end of the pool. They're playing a kid's game, and they're trying to play, but they're trying to play an adult's game, but they're not their kids. And he had some kind of decision to make. And I think the decision is really, what kind of leader will you be? Will you stick with pride and verbose and I'm going to do this way and, I'm going to stick it to the end or whatever, and lose even further the trust of your people? Or are you going to have a mantle of revelation come upon you, which could be represented by the blue jacket, and you're going to make the hard decisions to humble yourself and say, now may be a time to end war and to seek help that may come from a place that I normally wouldn't go to. So what is your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I like the soft play area. It's like the playground. There's all kinds of stuff that happens on the playground, fighting, kind of a wide variety of things. But also, I thought it was very curious how, everybody always makes fun of Zelensky for not dressing up. He comes to address the president of the U.S. and he's wearing like a commando uniform, almost looking thing. So here we see him with a blue coat, almost like he's coming to the table. I'd be curious when the dream was, and in relation to the peace conferences that are kind of going on the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think there's so much, and in a situation like this, what we need to do is we need to discern what God is saying, and not and take aside our own feelings, our own political leanings, or even our own sources of our preferred sources of news and what people are saying there, and really begin to say what God is saying. I mean, God loves everybody. God certainly loves the people of Ukraine. He loves the people of Russia as well. And it's there's a lot that's happening over there that we're not hearing on the news. Surprise, surprise. The vast majority of the news throughout the world is funded by U.S. aid and is propaganda. And most people are just waking up to the idea that that's a reality, that they are being lied to categorically in almost every area on almost every topic. And if you don't have that view, the lights are still off in your mind. And that's okay. We pray that God will wake you up, because there's serious things that are happening in the world, and there's the media spinning it one way. If almost all of the media and even a vast majority of politicians are going in one direction, it's a very, very, very clear indication that might be the exact wrong direction to go in. But to me, it's just fascinating they put out these kind of manufactured divisions, and they create these scenarios, and they see where people fall on one side of this or that. And you could be a Christian and feel one way or feel that way. And it's not even just the political divide or even a nationality divide. And it's just really interesting to see how a lot of times, believe it or not, people's discernment as Christians just goes right out the window when they hit on an emotional issue and they've read something, or they're convinced that their guy on the media is telling them the truth. And it's just, it's crazy. It's absolutely like derangement syndrome, when they go down this path with no real concept of what's happening in country. And then you try to tell them that, and they're 100% convinced that they know what's going on because they saw a TV show or whatever. And then it's like, do you know anybody in country? Do you know anybody in any of the country? Do you know anybody in Poland? Do you know anybody in Ukraine? Do you know anybody in Russia? Have you talked to people on the ground? Do you know anybody that's talked to people on the ground? Do you know that anything you're seeing is actually legitimate and real? And this is where people get offended, because there's the chance that they could look like an idiot. And nobody likes to believe that they've been snowed and that the stories they're hearing in the media may not have any shred of truth at all, may just be a propaganda war. People don't like that. They don't want to be taken advantage of. But I think it's clear to people that have discernment that there are the adults in the room, and then there are the kids in the room. And the kids in the room want to fight, and the adults want to end the fighting. And the people are stuck in between, and they need a lot of prayer. And there's wicked rulers on different sides of this equation. And we want God to deal with the wicked rulers and remove them immediately, if not sooner, as soon as possible, because a wicked ruler is the bane of any nation. And so those aren't my thoughts or my opinion, but that's what we feel that God is saying, particularly with this dream. The hope is there's a decision. So he's in the valley of decision. He's at a point where he could go one way or another. So pray for Zelensky that he does make the right decision, and pray that God removes the wicked leaders who are in this scenario, that God exposes them so people can see where the evil is and they can move them for the good of everyone involved.
Yeah,
So
and I love Jade's comment. She said black and blue, and I think regardless of your political affiliation, Zelensky was definitely black and blue coming back to the table.
Absolutely. Jade's one of the ones that always kind of comes from the top rope with the elbow into the back of somebody's head with these. She's just so good at seeing some of what we're seeing here and what God is showing. But yeah, and by the way, if you're going to play at the table on the international scale with the adults, you got to bring a level of honor to the table, and you can't sit there and kind of do your own thing. So great dream. Well, let me give you a few announcements. I want to tell you a couple of things that are happening. First of all, we have started the Spiritual Intelligence Module 2. The Spiritual Intelligence Module 2, we just started. If you missed it, no worries. We've got you covered. We have, by the way, the free 2-hour video replay of the first session that anybody can watch at your convenience. All you got to do is go to the Dream Life Decoded Lab, and it's titled Digital Open House for Spiritual Intelligence Mod 2. Just go to the dreamlifedecoded.com, dreamlifedecoded.com, and you can see about the courses, and you can watch the free first class of this 64-hour course. It's 32 classes, and it's college accredited, and it's pretty incredible. Some of the things that the Holy Spirit had us put in this Spiritual Intelligence Mod 2 class. It's every Thursday night from 6 to 8. We've only had a class or two, so if you want to join, you can still join, and you can take the course every Thursday night. Or if you're kind of a self-paced person like me, then you can take the course whenever. You can purchase the course now, and you can watch it at 2 times speed and get through it quicker as we're developing it. So definitely, if you're interested. Now, this is a deeper level. We have the Spiritual Intel Mod 1. This is Spiritual Intel Mod 2. Even if you've been through SIM and AIM and internship and all these things, we've never taught what we're teaching in Mod 2. So it's there for anybody, and it's there's a lot of depth. I'm really excited about the course because we're going into some things that are pretty cool and pretty exciting. Wouldn't you agree, Chris?
Oh, 100%. I haven't gotten to check out so much of the new material yet, but I hear it's great, and I love the depth that I'm reading in the descriptions.
Awesome. Well, also, I got a free gift for you just for visiting our website, dreamlifedecoded.com. Click on free gift, and you can download top mistakes to avoid when interpreting dreams. I take a good half hour, 40 minutes or so, and I unpack the top 10 mistakes that people make when interpreting dreams. And I show you how to avoid these. Again, just for a visit to dreamlifedecoded.com. Just enter in your email address for that, and that's free for you. One of the reasons is what we want to do is we want to be able to help people grow in their ability to hear from the Lord. And yeah, 2 times speed is my favorite. I don't even like to watch myself at 1 time speed. And I try to talk fast, but I just feel like I talk too slow. It annoys me. I watch books, or I listen to books at like 2.5 or 3 times speed a lot of times. But
John, I wonder if Erica just wants to hear you talk like a squirrel or something.
Erica is begging to be in this course. So go ahead, Erica. Go ahead. I challenge you to join us and be a part of the Spiritual Intelligence Mod 1 and Mod 2. And by the way, you can get a package deal. That's all on there too. But Erica's been with us for a while, and I always love her input. Sacred Terra, he's another one. There's so many people that I just love seeing on Tuesday nights. We're here every Tuesday night, by the way. From 6 to 8. I'm sorry, from 6 to 7. And we'd love to have you here with us. So come back any Tuesday. And if we didn't get a chance to get your dream last week, then we'll try to get it the very next week. And here's one of those we didn't get to last week. Angela, she's actually, I think she might have been waiting several weeks. And so we definitely want to get to her dream tonight. So here she is, Angela.
Hi, how are you guys
Tell us
doing?
your short dream.
Hey,
Okay.
Doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So I kind of want to preface this by saying this is a love interest. We were together for 13 years. We weren't married, but we lived together, and we were separated because of a serious health crisis that I just recently went through. And we started talking again, and God has given me several dreams about him. Anyway, and so this one is very curious, very interesting. When I woke up from it, I was thinking about the dream, and I said, God, why do you give me such weird dreams? And he said, because I love you. And we both chuckled, and I was like, okay. So it's very strange. So it's kind of a 3-part dream, but I'm going to just stick with the one that is the most like wild. So anyway, I'm sitting on the floor, and I have my legs crossed, and I look up, and this person, he's got this hide of a deer. It's a doe, a female deer, and all the meat's been removed, and it's got dry bones in it. It's the total skeleton inside the skin. And he takes this kind of like thicker cord, and he starts sewing up the incision that goes from, the chest. I'm a huntress, so this is very normal for me to see this. I can relate. Anyway, and it goes all the way down to the genitalia. And he starts at the chest. He's sewing it up, and he's sewing it, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and we're smiling. And as he gets to like the abdomen part, like toward like where the back legs are, the deer starts twitching and moving, and like it can feel the sensation of the needle going through, and but it wasn't like totally alive yet. And when he got to the last stitch, which was in the genitalia of the deer, the doe, the needle went through. It's like it went down through toward the floor and through my right pinky toe, and it was stitched up too. And as he's pulling it through like this, and it hurt, and I was like, oh, and I look at him, and I could see Jesus in him, and that was the end of the dream. And we were smiling at each other, like it was like he was glowing this beautiful golden. Anyway, end
Is
dream.
this guy's name Ray by chance?
No.
Okay. A bunch of people heard doe, a deer, a female deer, and I thought it'd be funny if his name was Ray. Ray, a drop of golden sun.
No.
And then,
Do you want to know
needle
it? Do you
pulling
want to know
thread.
his name?
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, Leroy.
Leroy.
But that's his middle name, but that's what he goes by. His first name is Clyde.
Clyde. Clyde Leroy, CL. 3-chord, not easily broken. Yes. Dry bones. Wow. Song of Solomon comes to mind. You are the dough. Wow.
Yes.
Means you've been gutted and you were like in the valley of dry bones situation. And he's coming back and wanting to stitch things back together, but also wanting to ground you. And so that's how the floor comes into he gets the floor and your toe.
No, just my toe, just my little pinky toe on my right.
Okay,
but it's like he came down low toward the floor, and that's where my pinky toe was. And as he's pulling it up, I look at him and he's smiling and I smile, even though it hurt. And I kind of knew it needed to be done. And that's when I realized, and that's when I saw Jesus in him. And yeah.
Wow. What do you think,
and
Chris?
We've been talking lately too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love that. I was thinking, just like somebody said in the chat, like, you are the dough. But then you got to the part where, he started stitching it up, and it's like you felt it. So it was like even more of a confirmation for that for me, just thinking about it. But I see
I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that part. It's only when it went through my toe. But the dough, the deer started, it was like the deer was feeling it. And I was like, how can it feel it? It doesn't have any meat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you still get stitched into it just the same.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Right. But then, so, I mean, I see the dough is not only you, but also your relationship with him. It's kind of like the idealized version of, from his eyes, he's doing the work to put this back together, to really help you through as the Lord's helper through this health crisis, working to fix your relationship with him, like you guys had just reconnected, you mentioned. And I mean, apparently it's going to, be all inclusive. You'll get the sexual part of the relationship will be good.
Okay.
I think it's really interesting.
Under God.
I think it's really interesting, and I love what Pamela said. What was dear was gutted, and he's trying to put things back together. And I feel like there was a carcass, and being a huntress, as you said, this would speak to you. But what's happened is the deer, which I think it represents you, but also represents the relationship, not just you, but you maybe in context of the relationship. There's no more flesh. The flesh is gone. You've been worked through a process where you felt gutted and you felt dead and you felt just like a skeleton. But what God's done is he's worked the flesh, and where a lot of people would say, well, I don't know if it's possible for that, can these dry bones live? I think what you're seeing is the very careful stitching of that together. So what's really cool is there's two pieces of actionable intelligence. The first one is for you and him to watch The Sound of Music together. Because I think the doe, a deer, a female deer ray, a drop of golden sun, me a name, I call myself far, because you were distant, a long, long way to run. So a needle pulling thread. There's so much in there, because you talked about the bright light, like the ray of sun, like you were seeing him glowing at the end. It's just all weaved into that song. And I would also look up the history of that song to understand that song. And then I would also possibly, if you're at the place where you're comfortable to watch it with him, is also read Ezekiel 37 together and say, are we both willing to say what may have been gutted out, what may have been a relationship that seemed like there was no hope, or even just you with the medical stuff that you went through, where it just looked like things could have been going in a really rough direction for you physically, and there was a backing away. Is it possible that God has then caused bone to come, ligament to come on bone and muscle and tissue and to stand up, and now the point that it's literally being sewed back together? And if so, and only if the both of you agree, then consider breathing, asking God to breathe the breath of life onto your relationship and see what happens.
Thank you.
Sure. That's a heavy assignment. I watched the movie, laugh a little bit, look at the dream. And again, it's only if you feel comfortable sharing with him the dream, and then maybe just watch The Sound of Music. And what a great way just to kind of connect and then talk about the things. And then,
yeah, we both were best friends, absolute best friends that 13 years. And I really didn't want it to end, but we were living in sin. We weren't married, and God didn't want that for me. God didn't want that for him. And the thing that I just lived through is like unheard of. I had a terminal no cure brain shrinking condition that within 9 years, a person passes away. And I'm telling you, God made a way. He made a way, and I'm here today, and the brain damage that was caused is being reversed. But anyway, and during that time, it ended, and I know he didn't want it to, but he's the one that ended it. And I really didn't want it to end. I felt like that was the nail in my coffin because I just found out what I was dealing with. And anyway, so I kind of had my own thoughts and things that what that dream meant, and I needed confirmation. And I thank you guys for that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Angela. We're so happy to hear that you're cured and feeling so much better. I would just add, one bit too is just be patient too with him. If you kind of start to bring it up, and he might not be quite ready to be at that place, but just be patient and look for the Lord's timing. He will guide you.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him continue. He will send me very sweet things. I'm gonna let him continue to do with the manly thing, But I think for me, this dream was just another way of God letting me know that it's going the way that he wants it to. So, and I lost everything. I lost everything during that. I mean, I lost family, friends. I even lost my clothing. I lost my business, my job, my home, vehicles, everything during that health crisis. And God is restoring. I know he is.
Yeah. Wow. What a powerful dream. Thank you for having the courage to come on and share that with us.
Thank you.
That's so powerful, Angela.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Angela.
Wow. That's amazing.
Bye. God bless you.
You too. Now, guys, it's no accident that you're here. And God says he's not a respecter of persons. What he's doing for one, he'll do for another. And so if you're in a situation like Angela, take her testimony as your own and say, I don't care what the prognosis or the diagnosis that the doctor has said, these dry bones can live. It doesn't get any worse than being bones, people, and being dried bones at that. So I don't care if it's cancer or brain tumors or this or that or diabetes or heart issues, or it doesn't matter what it is. There's no worse than being a dried bone, right? And God can bring back the dried bones. And so in her situation, God not only restored her physically, but looks like God is doing a tremendous work in her relationship. So also, if your marriage, if your relationship, if you're at a place where you're just like beyond hope, and it just seems like, how do I exit? How do I get out gracefully? How do I transition? Because the future looks untenable and we can't sustain the way we're going. Take this word and say, this was for me. God had me here on this call tonight for me to listen to something. He gave a word to somebody else and it struck me. And you're feeling that. What you're feeling right now is you're feeling in your chest hope starting to arise. And it feels uncomfortable because your head is giving you every excuse why this isn't for you and it's not going to work in your situation. And just tell your mind to shut up for a minute and listen to your spirit and what your spirit is saying, and do what so many are doing already, is saying, that's for me. I want the dried bones to live in my life. I want my relationship restored. I need my health restored. And take that word right now, because God knew you were going to be here tonight. And it wasn't just for Angela. So it's incredible. And Angela says amen. So God gave me several dreams about my health. I was able to get off Tylenol for my pain without any issues. My pain is managed. See, there's another one. Look at that. That's part of why we're here as a family, because God is giving us words that can speak into somebody else's dream can speak into your situation and your life. So, all right, Mike.
Get you off. Okay. Okay. Let me get you off of here. All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Oh, come on. I had it already. Where is it at? Okay. Here we go. This was a couple days ago at 4:04 in the morning. This young kid is wearing a 3-piece suit, is outside. He just arrived, and there's some sort of female assistant with the white blouses briefing him on the case. They go inside. The police chief is wearing the same suit, is working the case. And I was thinking maybe the kid is an honorary detective, and the police chief doesn't like him because he's always too smart. That was it.
So say that last bit again.
The police chief doesn't like him because he's always too smart.
The kid is like an honorary detective. A kid in a 3-piece suit outside with a female assistant being briefed on the case. The police chief doesn't like the kid because he's too smart.
Yeah, and he goes inside where the police chief is, who is working on the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was it.
Awesome. Yes, exactly, Anne-Marie. The exact thing that I thought. Like the kid at the State of the Union who was given the honorary Secret Service badge and title. And it's interesting because I believe he had like a brain tumor. He had like a big scar on his head, and he went through some very, very difficult things as well. And he's been in the news multiple times, and he's told people to stop picking on President Trump and all these things. And so I think it's interesting because I feel like God has given him a heart for the president of the United States that a lot of people, because of their own biases and their own deception, aren't willing to accept. If we all heard from God clearly, we'd all be on the same side. Mm-hmm. And when people are like, well, we can agree to disagree. No, one of us is walking in deception because God's not schizophrenic. God is not conflicted how he feels about the case or about the president or about a person. But isn't it just like a child to be able to pick up on love for somebody like a president? And I saw a kid that the president was talking and kind of reached over to give him a hug, and then he was shy and the president was looking the other way, but then the president turned back around and he gives him this big hug. And isn't that just like a kid to be able to do that, to love without political affiliation or without identity politics or without somebody else telling us who we have to love and who we have to hate and all of that. So I think this is a very profound dream. And I think it's talking about the opportunity to be childlike not only gives us the ability to see things clearly, but allows us to be smart beyond our years. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, like 100% on the kid from the State of the Union. And Mike, I'm curious if you'll tell us after a sec here, how, if you saw that, if you're familiar with it in regards to this dream. But yeah, first of all, just to like not be so judgmental when you're taking into consideration a kid with disabilities. And we get so heated on both sides of the political aisle these days. It's really sad how such a beautiful story as this one can get in the way of that, even where it's polarizing. It's like, how is this polarizing? It's so beautiful if you just look at the kid and consider him.
Yes, I did watch the State of the Union address.
Was the dream
what are your
before
thoughts,
or after
Mike?
it?
Nothing like yours. The first thing that came across my mind was Mini-Me, because they both had the same suit on, the same 3-piece suit. I had the idea of having the same calling or mantle as someone in charge. Kind of like the gray suit with a red tie. It almost reminded me of a TV show. I'm not sure what it was, and I talked to my wife about that. She's like, well, what TV show? I'm like, I don't know. But that's kind of like where I was going with that. But that's totally out of left field from where you're going, from where you guys were at.
Wow. So the idea of mini-me?
Mini-me, yes, because they had the same, what's that one movie?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that movie.
Okay. So how do you feel like that relates to you?
I was observing it, and actually, I think this might have been a request for information for another dream.
Okay.
As far as relating to me, I'm thinking it might have something to do with what's coming up in the next hour or two.
Yeah.
But as far as me observing it, this might have to do something with the fact that this is an RFA of another dream that I had that was for, I think it was for my church or the churches in this area, and I think it had to do with having someone having the same calling as someone else there. It could be me having the same calling as other people, and that are younger than me at this point. I am not quite sure. I'm going to have to listen to you guys again.
Yeah. Well, check it out. And if you get a chance, go back. And if you didn't see it, watch the president's address in the joint session of Congress and the gentleman, the little honorary Secret Service. I think he spoke to the heart of a lot of things that are happening in the nation.
Yes.
Related to, a lot of people said the Secret Service got an upgrade with this kid. And of course, they're referring to the July 13th event in Butler, Pennsylvania. And what a lot of people feel like was ineptness, or certainly shocking to see what happened at that event. But I believe that, I believe that God is highlighting children in this administration. It's something that we're going to see. And I think we're going to continue to see, a little child will lead them. Children are going to have a say, possibly like never before. And we're going to be amazed at what God brings to the forefront with children. And even think of, the Department of Government Efficiency and the relatively young people that are working there and how they're working at exposing and potentially cleaning up government at an unprecedented rate. So it's fascinating. I love what you're seeing here.
Wow. Cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it was good to have you. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right. Well, beautiful, beautiful dreams. This has been a great evening. So thank you all for being with us. We love the fact that we're here, and again, that you're here with us. And again, we're here every week. So come with us, be a part of us every week. Tuesday nights at 6, bring a dream. And even if you just want to listen and kind of test your dream interpretation and chime in with us as part of our group, we love to have you. So Chris, you did great. Good job on your first time out. How do you feel?
Yeah, great. It was a lot of fun. So look forward to doing it again. And thanks for everybody to join us.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, y'all. Until next time, keep dreaming.